Listen up. Right now, in Indonesia and Nepal, something powerful is happening. The streets aren't full of sheep anymore. They're full of lions. Young lions. Gen Z lions. For decades, corrupt politicians built their empires on your silence. Stealing money, buying power, selling your future. They told you to shut up, pay taxes, and wait. But guess what? The waiting's over. This generation, Gen Z, isn't built like the old one. They're not soft. They're not scared. They've got smartphones in one hand, a banner in the other, and fire in their hearts. They're done watching their countries rot from the inside out. They've declared war on corruption. If you want freedom, you don't beg for it. You take it. That's exactly what's happening. Streets of Jakarta, alleys of Kathmandu, town squares, campuses, full of people who aren't afraid of the riot shields, the water cannons, or the tired old threats. They know fear is the weapon of the corrupt, but courage is the weapon of the free. And let's be clear, this isn't about whining. This isn't about hashtags for attention. This is about domination. It's about reclaiming their nations from parasites who thought they could live forever on stolen money. Cowards watch history. Lions write it. Gen Z is writing history right now. They're breaking the cycle their parents tolerated. They're fighting for a future where power belongs to people who earn it, not to people who bribe for it. In Indonesia, they're exposing deals politicians made in dark rooms. In Nepal, they're ripping open contracts and demanding to see every dirty secret. They're fearless because they've seen how small the elite actually are when they're exposed to the light. You see, corruption is tyranny, and tyranny doesn't need guns to control you. It uses your apathy, your silence, your hopelessness. But Gen Z refuses to stay silent. They've turned smartphones into weapons. They've turned protest into an art form. They're breaking censorship and streaming the truth worldwide. When injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. Here's the truth. The most masculine thing you can do in a corrupt world is stand up. Standing up isn't easy. It costs you comfort. It costs you sleep. It might cost you your safety. But freedom was never built by the comfortable. It was built by warriors. And these young people, they're warriors. They're building a culture of accountability where every deal is transparent, every leader is questioned, every decision is challenged. They're ripping out the roots of the old system and planting something stronger. Discomfort creates kings. Fear creates slaves. Indonesia and Nepal are showing the planet what happens when the young stop playing victim and start playing offense. This is what masculine energy looks like in a generation raised online but forged in real-world struggle. So if you're watching this from anywhere on Earth, don't sit there scrolling like a zombie. Ask yourself, what am I tolerating? What corruption? What weakness? What lie am I living under? Because change doesn't start with a hashtag. Starts with a decision. This isn't just their fight. This is the fight. The eternal fight between freedom and tyranny, between honor and theft, between courage and cowardice. And Gen Z is proving something the elites fear the most. You can't brainwash a generation that refuses to bow. You can't silence a generation that owns the internet. You can't stop a generation that's ready to bleed for their future. Stand with them. Learn from them. Be like them. If you want to be a lion, stop living like a sheep. The protests in Indonesia and Nepal aren't just news stories. They're training videos. They're showing you what it looks like when the young step up, grow a spine, and fight back against a corrupt system. To every Gen Z fighter out there, you're not protesters. You're pioneers. You're not rebels. You're leaders. You're not the future. You're the present. And you're reminding the world that corruption isn't inevitable. It's beatable. Stay unbreakable. Stay unstoppable. Stay masculine. Because when you do, tyranny dies. And freedom lives.